You're watching Major League Baseball's virtual network. I'm Nicholas Callis. These are your game recaps and standing updates from Thursday, April the 23rd, 2020. Starting in the American League East, the Boston Red Sox, after walking off the Blue Jays yesterday, beat them again in today's game. This one by a score of 6-3. Nathan Eovaldi got his first win of 2020. Trent Thornton got the loss, and Brandon Workman now with 5 saves as the rostered closer of the Red Sox. One of our games of the day here on Major League Baseball's virtual network, the Cleveland Indians beat the Oakland Athletics by a score of 4-2. The Athletics got a couple runs on a homer in the third inning, but that was the only time they scored throughout this game. The Indians chipped away constantly and then took the lead in the bottom of the 8th on a Francisco Lindor 2-run home run. Phil Maytone got the win out of the bullpen. J.B. Wendelken got the loss. He's now 0-3 out of the Athletics bullpen. And Brad Hand, much success so far in 2020. He has 12 saves on the season. The Tigers continue to struggle against the Yankees in this series, and it didn't help that Garrett Cole was the starter of this game for New York. The Yankees won by a score of 7-0. Garrett Cole now with 2 wins as a member of the Yankees. Spencer Turnbull is now 0-3. Mariners and Twins played each other in what was a close game. The Mariners could only score in the second inning, and the Twins in the first 3 innings got runs in innings 2 and 3, and it was tied up until the 6th, and the Twins got a run and kept the lead from that point on. Jose Barrios got the win. He's now 3-1. Eric Swanson now 0-1 on the season, and Taylor Rogers, who has been struggling in 2020, was able to lock down the save here. He now has 8 on the season. White Sox Angels played each other, and the Angels were able to win this one. Both teams scored in the 4th inning, but when the White Sox put up 2, the Angels doubled that with 4, and there's your final score for you. Tyler Glasnow got the win. He's now 3-0 after his second start in Los Angeles. Dylan Cease got the loss. He's 0-1. And Robles got the save. He now has 6 on the season. Rays and Astros, they played each other. Rays won 9-6. The Rays have now won 2 games in this series against the Astros. Brendan McKay got his first win of 2020, and he's up in the majors now because Blake Snell is still on the injured list. Framber Valdez, he got the loss. He's now 1-2 on the year. And then Nick Anderson, he got the save. He now has 8 with Tampa Bay this season. Moving to the National League, the Arizona Diamondbacks continuing to struggle in this series against the Atlanta Braves. The Braves won 8-7, really propelled by a 5th inning that had them scoring 4 runs. Chris Martin got the win. He's now 1-0. Junior Guerra got the loss. He's 0-2. And Will Smith now 7 saves as a member of the Braves. The Nationals continue to struggle against the Dodgers. The Dodgers beat the Nationals again in this series. 10-6 was the final score. And this game needed extras to solve it, but the Dodgers found an answer in the 10th, scoring 5 runs, and the Nationals were unable to come back. Scored a run in the bottom of the 10th, but wasn't close to them fulfilling and overcoming the 5 runs that the Dodgers had in their lead coming into that inning. 10-6 final score. Scott Alexander got the win, and Ronis Elias, he got the loss. National League East baseball between the Miami Marlins and the New York Mets. Quite a pitcher's duel this one was, and it took the 9th inning for either team to score, but the only team to score was the Marlins, scored in the top of the 9th, and the Mets were shut out in this one. Adam Connolly got the win. He's now 1-1. Brad Brock got the loss. He's 0-3 now out of the Mets bullpen. And Brandon Kinsler here in the save now with 9 as a member of the Marlins. Our other game of the day here on Major League Baseball's virtual network, the Chicago Cubs beat the San Diego Padres 7-2. 2 runs in the first, 2 runs in the third, 2 runs in the fifth, then a run in the seventh. Cubs scored consistently. The Padres could only put up 2 runs, 1 in each the third and fourth innings. Tyler Chatwood got the win. He's now 2-0, and Zach Davies is now 1-3. National League Central Baseball in this game featured the Pittsburgh Pirates and the Milwaukee Brewers. And the Brewers, with this one, have swept the series against the Pirates after winning the last couple games by a large amount of runs. 9-2 was this final score. Zach Brown got the win, and Derek Holland is winless in 2020. He's 0-3. And a National League West game between the Colorado Rockies and the San Francisco Giants. Yancy Almonte got the win. Drew Smiley got the loss. Final score of this one was 8-3. And that's huge for the Rockies because the Rockies have swept the Giants now in the series that they were just in. And we'll take a look at how that affects the NL West in just a moment. We're going to start in the American League East. The New York Yankees are 17-9 on an 8-game winning streak now, most recently beating the Tigers. They remain in first place in the AL East. The Baltimore Orioles also find themselves with a substantial winning streak. They're at 5 games, and now they're 14-10, just 2 games back of the Yankees. The Rays on a 2-game winning streak now after beating the Astros today. They're 14-12, keeping pace in the AL East with a 14-12 record, 3 games back of the division. The Blue Jays are on a 3-game losing streak now. They are 12-13, 4.5 games back. And the Red Sox starting to heat up slightly. They are still in a large hole. They're 9.5 games back with an 8-19 record. Moving to the American League Central, the Chicago White Sox lost today, but they are still at the top of the AL Central. They are 18-8. The Minnesota Twins are 3 games back of the division. They won today against the Mariners. The Indians, 15-12, 3.5 games back. The Indians also won today. The Kansas City Royals on a losing streak now that has reached 5 games. They're 9-15, 8 games back of the division. And the Tigers on their own losing streak, most recently losing to the Yankees. They're 11.5 games back of this division, and the record is 6-19. And to the American League West, this race continues to be rather tight. The Houston Astros are 14-11. They're on a 2-game losing streak, trailed by the Oakland Athletics, who are 13-3, 1.5 games back. The Athletics lost today, as did the Rangers, who are 12-12, 1.5 games back also of the division. The Mariners are 11-16. They lost to the Twins today. They're 4 games out, and also 4 games out are the Angels, who are 10-15. Wildcard standings still irrelevant. We're not even going to pay too much attention to these today. To the National League East, the Miami Marlins are 16-9. They're on a 5-game winning streak, and they lead the NL East. The Washington Nationals are 14-10, and since losing 3 straight to the Dodgers, they have lost their NL East lead. And with the Marlins continuing to win, the Nationals are falling further behind in this division. The Atlanta Braves, under a 500 winning percentage, but they're climbing their way back out of a hole they put themselves in, most recently beating the Diamondbacks. They're now 4 games back of the division, 13-14 record. The Phillies are 12-13, also 4 games back. And the Mets are 9-16 after losing to the Marlins today. They are on a 3-game losing streak, 7 games back of this division. In the National League Central, the Milwaukee Brewers, who swept the Pittsburgh Pirates after today's game, they're 17-8, and they lead this division. The Cubs beat the Padres today. They're 2 games back of the NL Central, keeping pace. The Cardinals, under a 500 winning percentage, they are 12-13, 5 games back of the division. The Pittsburgh Pirates sliding down an 8-game losing streak. They are 9-16, 8 games back of the division, and now closely trailed by the Cincinnati Reds, who are 8-16, 8.5 games back of the division. And the National League West is close among the top 4 teams at the least. The San Diego Padres lost today. They are 16-8. And I made a mistake earlier. I said the San Francisco Giants got swept. That is not the case. The Giants won 1 game out of the 3 so far that they've played the Rockies in. But the Giants are 15-10 after losing today. They're 1.5 games back. The Dodgers, who are on a 6-game winning streak, most recently beating the Nationals, have tied the Giants for second place now. They're each 1.5 games back with a 15-10 record. The Arizona Diamondbacks lost to the Atlanta Braves 3 straight times now, and they are 12-13, 4.5 games back. And the Rockies have put some wins finally in their win column for the season. They are 7-17, 9 games back of the division. But again, still in last place, but not doing as poorly as they did to start the year. National League wildcard standings still irrelevant, so don't pay too much attention to those. They don't mean much yet. They very well might mean more closer to the All-Star break, but that's still not too close to now. We're still in mid to late April. But speaking of late April, don't forget, coming up in just about 3 days, we'll have category leaders being shown off in this segment of our results and standings. It'll be category leaders as well for both leagues. That's batting average leaders, home run leaders, RBI leaders, ERA leaders, all the individual leaders for the categories that are most prominent to the league, things that you want to see. That will be coming up on Sunday, April the 26th. We'll be showing off league leaders in statistical categories. So hope you look forward to that. But for now, these have been your game recaps and standing updates from Thursday, April the 23rd, 2020. I'm Nicholas Callis. You've been watching Major League Baseball's Virtual Network.